Hello and welcome back to another week on the lovely World of Warcraft world of Azeroth. This week we are going to do a little bit of wibbly wobbly timey wimey magic and go back in time, like I said last week, to the place that we were last week, but we're going to go back and see how it was before the Plague of Undeath, before the Forsaken came, before all of those things that happened. And we're just going to kind of poke around a little bit. We can't see everything. This is a dungeon instance in the Caverns of Time. It's the Old Hillsbrad Foothills dungeon. It's a lot of fun. The dungeon itself is very straightforward. I already went ahead and did it off camera just so that there weren't any events that were going to interrupt us. But this is a good one to see a lot of lore characters before they were lore characters. Like, you can run into a lot of people. And I discovered something really cool that I will show you. It doesn't work everywhere, but where it does work, it's kind of neat to do. And that is if your character is a hunter, which is why we have Onyx this week instead of Beryl. Not that you're going to be able to recognize her because she is disguised as a human. But if you have a hunter, you can use your eagle eye ability and see even further into a few areas that maybe you don't get to see all the time, especially not as they were back in the day. So we are going to join Onyx and kind of do a little poking around. All right, as you can see, I decided to get myself off the screen because I want you to see everything that's happening. This is Onyx in her human disguise. We're also gonna dismiss Chalcedony, which is one of her hunter pets, because he's not really needed right now. But yeah, this is my blood elf character all disguised up as a human. Honestly, I'm not sure that that's exactly the hairstyle I would have given her, but hey, at least she's not a gnome, right? So when you come out of the Caverns of Time, where you show up, let me dismiss. See you later, Chalcedony. You show up right over here in the area that normally in Hillsbrad is a Yeti cave. It is not a Yeti cave now. The dragons have sort of taken it over as their area so that you can fix things in the timeline. And the whole point of this dungeon is you are rescuing Thrall, who is the future leader of the Horde, and kind of making sure that he lives because a different time dragon's trying to kill him. So that's the basic premise of the dungeon, but that is not what we are here for. What we are here for is to run around. So the first place we're going to go is up into the hills behind this area, just so I can show you the eagle eye ability, if I can get up there. Now, what happens if you run off the area that the map lets you be on is everything gets gray. If you keep running, you just run into an invisible wall and you can't go any further. It's really sad, but it is one of the ways that the developers have made it so that, you know, you stay pretty much where you're supposed to be. You can tell you're getting back close to the real world because you start seeing enemy nameplates. One other thing, if you are a leather worker or a skinner, this dungeon is fantastic because you can just kill all of these animals to your little heart's content and get a lot of skins. I think it's usually medium leather that you get here. So if you're looking for a place to farm leather, just come in here. You don't even actually have to do the dungeon instance. You can just come in and run around in this area and farm to your heart's content. Now, several of the areas that we got to tour last week while touring Hillsbrad, we can't get to because they're just cut off. They weren't kept in with the dungeon. But some of them we can actually see. Now, some of them, when I go up to see them, we will run into the dreaded fog. But we can look a little bit beyond the fog. Not a lot, but a little bit. And see exactly what it is that we're missing out on. Unfortunately, a few of the places that I really wish were in this aren't. Like, that really cute little human house is not there, unfortunately. Well, it's there, you just can't get to it. So, what you do, if you have a hunter, is you just get up to as high of an area as you can. I can do it right. Alright. Someplace that you can kind of see a little bit beyond the gate. Get up as high as we can. And then you just cast your eagle eye and kind of put it on something as far out as you can. And look! Now we can look out beyond and see the Alterac Mountains, which is kind of cool. I probably shouldn't have put us into a tree, but that is the drawback of the eagle eye. So that's pretty cool. Let's see if we can see anything else cool from up at this vantage point. You can see all the way into the Arathi Highlands also, which we will do here just a little bit. I think that might be it for that, so I will bring you back when I get to another cool spot. Alright, after a lot of jumping and running, I think we can see further into the Alterac Mountains from up here, so let's over this way. We've got a guard tower. Not too much over here, just a cool guard tower. And looking back, my character is somewhere over in that corner beyond the wall there. Alright, well, that was pretty cool. Let's see if we can get up this other side and see if we can get a better view. Maybe we can see some buildings or a town or something. Not sure if we'll see anything, but I'm proud of myself for getting us all the way up here. So let's cast Eagle Eye. Go all the way over to that tower. Oh, cool. Can't do too much. Let's see if we can get over a little bit further on that tower. Try that again. Oh, there we go. And now we can see, I think that is the town of Stalingrad, or Stalingrad. Oh, that's pretty cool. And you can just kind of get a little window in on the past, although it does look pretty darn ruined. Cool. Also, if you look over that way, I do believe that that is where the Dalron crater is. Over there. Pretty spiffy. Alright, well, let's go explore some towns. So just ahead is the little town of Terran Mill, which, if you remember from the last video, was sort of taken over by the Forsaken as one of their little bases. But in this instance, you can see it is Alliance Town. Leaving the town, you can go up and come across this aged Dalron wizard who will sell you a formula to enchant shields for intellect if you are an enchanter. But let's poke around the town that is not in ruins. As you can see, we've got a cute little apple orchard over here that is no longer in the town. And some nice intact houses that aren't decrepit and falling down. Also, this is your quest giver. He is a bronze dragon. They all like to take the form of blood elves. Obviously, because Blood Elves are the best looking race. Okay, that's subjective, I know. But that's just my subjective opinion. But yeah, you can poke around, check out all of these little houses. You can even go upstairs in the inn. Poke around in the inn a little bit and see it not falling down, which is always a bonus. And it's just your standard inn, but if you are in here with a group, this makes a fantastic place to do a little bit of roleplay if that's what you're into. And one last building, you've got a fully intact church. Nice little cathedral. But this isn't where the real action is. The real action is down in South Shore. There are a couple other NPCs that patrol the roads. One of them, if you get the quest in Tanris, you can get his hat, which is a toy that will help you to disguise yourself as a human with a hunter pet with you, which is really cool. Now, in this guard tower here, I think this is the one, there are a couple of lore characters here. And it's Jonathan Revna, who is symbolizing the bonds of friendship and brotherhood between Terran Mill and South Shore by erecting this tower halfway between the towns. And, you know, he's talking to Jerry Carter, who I am assuming is from South Shore. So, moving on, we are going to see if we can make it over to South Shore. Leave. We can always see it now in the distance. There we go to South Shore. Again, if you are a skinner, this place is a dream. Alright, we have another traveling salesman, which is
looking
a good
for something
thing
specific?
if you are here with a dungeon group. You can find him and sell if you happen to have just gotten too much stuff and you want to reset between bosses and just kind of sell some stuff. He also sells all of these shirts and things that you can't get anywhere else, as far as I know. He also sells the pattern for the riding crop, which is a leather working pattern which will help your mount to move faster. At least it did back in the old days. So we're going to move on and head to the store. The other cool thing is all of these models are the original World of Warcraft human models. So they look a little blocky and a little chunky, but it's kind of a really cool little nostalgia thing. Most of who you encounter here are just citizens, but you can zoom in on their faces and kind of actually see the old models. And they're mostly talking about Thrall and the dungeon events that you're going to be doing. So, a couple of notable citizens is right here. You have Hekular and Kel'Thuzad, back when he was a human. They don't do a whole heck of a lot. I don't think that they'll talk if you follow them, but some NPCs will, which makes it really interesting. Also, most of these children that are running around in this town are named, and they are bosses from various dungeons. Mostly the Scarlet Crusade and the Scarlet Keep. That's Sally Whitemane. We killed her. And Little Jimmy Vicious. And I think that last one is Commander Morgraine. Well, future Commander Morgraine. And evidently, if you follow them around enough, which we are going to do, you can actually see them saying some of the lines from the dungeon. Only they're torturing some poor little critter. So let's follow them around for a few minutes and see if we can see this. Just like every other child, they never do stand still, do they? And there is Herod the Bully, who is also in the Scarlet Crusade dungeon. So this place is basically just a giant lore bomb. But it's really neat to be able to run around and see this as it was before the Plague of Undeath hit it. Nope, I think they're going to be little brats who just run around. It looks like maybe they finally calmed down a little bit. No, these might be different children. Victor, Alex, you, Bill, one. They look a little demonic, but I'm pretty sure all children in World of Warcraft look a little bit demonic. Not gonna lie, they always worry me at least a little bit. Now, if you approach this beggar, he wants some coppers for some grog. I'm pretty sure somewhere in here I also read that there is a semi-famous horse, but I'm seeing her. She wasn't in the stable, but that's alright. Run in here and see. Nope, these are just regular old citizens. Ah, there we go. More grain has fallen. You shall pay for this treachery. Arise, my champion, arise. They're torturing a frog. At your side, my lady. We will attack as one. Oh, and they took out the frog. We are victorious. So yeah, that's basically exactly what they will say if you encounter them in the Scarlet Crusade dungeon. So I'm glad I got to see that. Now, another lore character, which World of Warcraft players will recognize, is here, I do believe, in the inn, and that is Commander Morgraine and Tyrion Fordring. And what you do is, if you stay and watch, you can see them beginning to create the Ashbringer. Of course, this guy over here is very upset and wants everyone to shut up. But Chef Jessup is very irate about the noise. But if you stay and watch, you can watch Commander Morgraine discovering the whole basis of the weapon of the Ashbringer, which is a very famous paladin weapon, which is pretty darn cool. And lore buffs can come and watch. This is probably the first meeting between Morgraine and Tyrion Fordring, who later on would have a split, and one would go on to form the Scarlet Crusade. The other goes on to form the Argent Dawn. So that is pretty cool. We'll just watch them for a few minutes. As you can see, they are trying to purify this crystal that was found. So now they're going to name this basis for their weapon the Ashbringer. The Ash. I think it's pretty cool. But you can definitely see the rift already forming between them. Another pair of characters that you can watch is these two pirates over here in the corner, Captain Edward Haynes and Captain Sanders. So let's see what they do. Alright, now what they do is drink. A lot of drinking. But if you watch them after a little while, they're going to go out and have a little secret conference. He says, let me show you my ship. We'll follow them. See what they're going to talk about. I do love all of these little lore bombs, basically, is what this is. Especially because Captain Sanders here is a quest chain. He's not even actually an NPC in the game anymore, but he does have a fun little quest chain over in Westfall, which we will get to eventually. Oh, they do go far, don't they? Or we're not followed. Evidently they can't see me because I'm a time traveler. Doing all that wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff. Yes, his ship is a beaut, isn't it? I parked her next to my frigate. Oh, it's a big one. Sail across the world, across the sea. Somehow I think the grog is getting to them. So Sanders, what you got in that chest? Which is the name of the quest chain, is Captain Sanders' treasure. Can you keep a secret? Dead men tell no tales. Me treasure, me life's work, a white shirt, fit for a pirate king, a red sash you can put on your head or your breeches, pride of the fleet. And last, but certainly not least, one enormous bag big enough to fit 8 whole apples. 8. Can you believe it? Keep it down. They're scallywags. Scallywag ears, listening for gasps like the one you just did. I'm sorry. I've never seen such bounty. It took me by surprise. It's alright. Me booty is locked away good in that chest. No fool will ever have Captain Sanders' treasure. And that is the basis of the treasure hunt that goes all across Westfall. Alright, leaving the good captains, we're gonna go over here and Thomas Yance is still in the inn yelling about his meat that is guaranteed to satisfy. I'm pretty sure he's a lore character too, but honestly, I don't know what exactly he is from. Now, you're going to see this little goblin, Zaxil. He is still wandering around in Hillsbrad Foothills, but he has completed his Overwatch Mark 0, and he just sells various goods. You go a little further over here, and there is a character that will be familiar to many World of Warcraft players, and that is Nat Pengal. And I'm not sure who Hal McAllister is, but he is over here fishing. Nat is the world's greatest fisherman, at least according to him. And I'm pretty sure what I heard was that if you stay around long enough, they have a conversation about how Hal's having dreams. Oh, there we go, Hal. Yeah, Nat. Had that dream again last night. Which one? I can't even believe this one. You know that loud-mouthed ruffian Figule? Well, in this dream, somehow he ended up inventing something called ice cream and flavoring it with strawberries, and he ends up striking it rich. That is a reference to Kingel's ice cream business. And if that weren't crazy, he decides to quit the ice cream business and become an adventurer. He disappeared in some portal. What you got in that pipe, Nat? Basically, Nat had a lot of very prophetic dreams, it seems. But yeah, you can stick around and just watch them all talking about their dreams, which is pretty cool. But we're going to head up and into, I think this is what, the town hall, and visit with another lore character that will be very familiar to anyone who's been playing World of Warcraft for a while now. And that is... oh, okay, maybe not. I'm in the wrong... nope, there he is. Mr. Nathanos Maris. Later on, Nathanos Blightcaller. The consort of the Queen Sylvanas. I think he was the only human to be accepted into the Blood Elf Ranger troop. But this is back when he was still just a lowly human. Also up here is Magistrate Henry Melb. And, if you are curious, a Colteran citizen. It says a Hillsbrad citizen, but I think this might have been the basis that World of Warcraft based their Colteran humans off of, because he's the chunkiest dude I've seen in a long time. Alright, I think that's about it, except for this salesman up here, who I understand in vanilla World of Warcraft actually sold a Yeti fur coat for any adventurers who did quests for him. Now he just says, "You there. Yes, you, peasant girl. Come quickly, I must tell you something. I must tell you about my greatness. Ooh, gaze upon my rippling musculature. Bask in the glow of my physique." Bartolo? Definitely are something. Hands off the cloak. Yes, I know. You want one. Everyone wants one of my cloaks. Believe me, a person of low moral and social standing, one day I will make my fortune from the sale of my cloaks. Everyone from here to Ironforge will know the name of Bartology Inseti. The Inseti label will be coveted by all. I think he actually ended up in obscurity and disappearing, which is tragic. Alright, a couple more spots to check out, and then we are going to be done with this for the day. We're going to go over and check out Dernhold Keep, which, if you remember, in current Hillsbrad Foothills, is just a absolute wreck being guarded by spirits. No longer guarded by spirits. You can see it is definitely a fully functional keep. Oh, and most of the NPCs have respawned. We might have to kill our way in, but we might not. Nope, we're passing right by them. are not noticing me at all. In the dungeon, what you do is you have to set fire to all of the orc internment buildings. This is basically an orc internment camp after the opening of the Dark Portal. When the orcs came through, a lot of them were captured and they were used as pit fighters by a lot of sadistic humans. But you can run in here and see Dernhold Keep completely functional again. Also might have to kill just a few of these riflemen. Just so we can go upstairs and cast our Eagle Eye again. But yeah, it's a nice little keep. Not really sure why it's also a, oh, there you go. Why it's also someone's bedroom, but it is. See, they've got a big old bed in here along with this big old table. Again, it's one of those places that if you are with a guild or a group and you want to have your own private keep, well, here you have your very own private keep, all nicely decorated, which is pretty incredibly cool. But we're going to go upstairs and walk the ramparts a little bit and see what we can see from this height. Actually, we're going to jump onto the roof and see what we can see from that height. And we can pretty much see into the Arathi. Cast it way out here. Ah, look at that. You can now look back in time into the Arathi Basin. You can see the keep out that way. The ocean. Several of the farms. They still look kind of dilapidated, even in the past. But that's darn cool. And that's pretty much about it. We might be able to get a little bit closer and possibly see a few more areas, but there isn't much left to see that we won't just run into the past areas. Unfortunately. The other cool thing that I wanted to show you is the fact that Ravenholt, that really cool spy area that I took you up to, it is on this map, you just can't really get there. You can get up to where you can see it, but the tunnel that leads you there is blocked off, and unfortunately, as you can see, I can't exactly fly here. Which is too bad, because if you could fly, we could get all sorts of places. Also, if you are a demon hunter, I'm not sure that you would be able to use all of your demon hunter abilities in here, which is too bad. Not sure if goblin gliders would work either, but you would probably just end up sailing off the map, which would be unfortunate because you would not end up going anywhere except into the fog of war zone. But if you get up into these hills far enough, you can actually see where Ravenholt is. You just can't get to it. Like I said, I think that's a little bit of a tragedy, but we're going to go up there and cast Eagle Eye and see if maybe we can even see it, because that would be pretty cool. We're just going to keep on running, hopefully not injuring myself too badly, but you know, that is the price that Eagle Eye and see what's back there. Not a whole heck of a lot, just the path that goes up into Hillsbrad, or up into, I think, yeah, beyond that. I'm losing my geography already. Let's see, we are approximately right there. That would be Ravenholt. So that was the path going up to Ravenholt, or at least one of them. But earlier I actually found another path that kind of takes you up into the right area. So let's see if I can find it again. So it looks like this poor guy, even in the past, was in a dug up grave. Poor dude. Not sure why his poor grave is still dug up, even in the past, but you know, I guess it's good to see a familiar sight. Alright, I'm pretty sure this is the path that leads up to at least where Ravenholt would be if the tunnel were open. So let's follow it on up. Maybe we'll be high enough to see some cool stuff up here. Right up here is where the path would be. Unfortunately, we can't get there, but you can see up in the mini-map, hopefully even in this map. Nope. Not sure if you can see that in the mini-map, because I don't have the mini-map showing. But if you see up in the mini-map, up in the corner, you can kind of see where Ravenholt is supposed to be. Unfortunately, like I said, we can't get there, but let's see if maybe we can get up high enough. I don't think... Oh, we can give it a try. Little eagle eye up here. If you can see. Oh, and there it is. Oh, that's so cool. I wasn't sure if that was actually going to work or not, but yeah, we can actually use our eagle eye, look around a little bit, and see the secret spy base of Ravenholt. Having a hunter is definitely worthwhile for this. I mean, having a hunter is a lot of fun anyway. They are actually my very favorite class. Let's put our eagle eye way out here in Arathi. Oh, some of the rings of binding. And just the corner. Path is well lit. Oh yeah, that's cool. Alright, and with that, that is where I'm going to leave that this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I mean, even if you've been to this dungeon before, maybe you've never really poked around. I happen to be, like, poking around is my very favorite thing to do in World of Warcraft, so I tend to find really dumb little things that maybe you haven't seen before. Let me know if I missed anything, or let me know more about the lore behind some of these characters, because I do not even pretend to know all this lore. Gonna leave you again as we looked around Arathi a little bit, which is going to be our very next zone that we do, the Arathi Highlands. So hopefully I will see you next week. Have a wonderful time, and I'll talk to you later.